Today, I want to speak on refuge. What does it mean to seek refuge? And what does it mean to offer refuge? What does it mean to be a refuge? And I feel pretty certain that the answers to these questions have a lot to do with equanimity. Refuge is a condition of being safe or sheltered from a pursuit, danger, or trouble, like a gun-free zone, or better yet, like home. And in Buddhist thinking, there is refuge in the three jewels. Some teachers refer to it as the three gateways: Buddha and Dharma and Sangha. And while these have very specific meaning in Buddhist thinking, they are also found in other faith traditions, and they can be secular. Refuge in Buddha, or refuge in our Buddha nature, in our awareness, our capacity to wake up. There's a really lovely Tibetan phrase saying that the treasure you seek is closer than you imagine. It's within. It's so close, we might miss it. This is refuge in our own potential to wake up. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches that within each of us is the seed of love and understanding, and we need to water and nurture this seed. So refuge in Buddha confirms that we can do like he did. We can wake up. And there's also this recognition that there is already within us a part that is awakened. And then there is refuge in Dharma, which is really refuge in truth. And we think about all the different ways that we call upon to help us remember to wake up: the books, the teachings, the teachers, the daily sit retreats, whatever it is that helps us to remember presence. Refuge in Dharma teachings, refuge in awakened teachings. The teachings that help us to pause and be in this moment, moment to moment. Can we come into the aliveness of the body just this moment? Can you feel breath breathing? Breathing can be a refuge. Out of the story, into body and breath, with kindness, again and again and again. For many of us, there's a shift in our motivation or our devotion to want to practice, not because someone said it's good for you, you should really do this, but because we begin to know, we begin to taste and know and experience that there is something very alive for us here. we begin to trust that there is something very important in these embodied practices, something very precious in these heart, mind, bodies that deserve our attention, something valuable in these teachings. What has drawn you here today? What is alive and awake in you and draws you to want to be here? And this brings us to the third jewel, which is the jewel of Sangha, refuge in Sangha, refuge in relationships. And Sangha are all those relationships that help us to connect to love and to remember to wake up. There's something so, so important in this recognition of belonging. Sangha literally means just bringing together. So we consciously bring ourselves into deliberate relationships that help support us, like this meditation Sangha, or 12 steps, or churches, or synagogues, or veterans with veterans, whatever that Sangha is that helps you to connect and feel alive and awake. We take refuge in spiritual friends. And I love this. Refuge in Sangha is refuge in love. Refuge in Sangha is refuge in love. A while back, I spoke about Mr. Rogers, right? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And that was a Sangha. That was also a refuge for children. So we come together so we can practice, that we can wake up together. And we have this opportunity to be supported by Sangha. We can offer support to each other. We have this opportunity to be encouraged and to offer our encouragement. We help each other. And Thich Nhat Hanh writes, when you allow yourself to be in a Sangha, the way a drop of water allows itself to be in a river, the energy of the Sangha can penetrate into you, and transformation and healing become possible. And we all know that we can take false refuge. Tara Brach talks about false refuge when we are in distress, or we're frightened, we're angry, we're hurt. False refuge is reactive refuge. It's like danger, 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 Will Robinson. The smoke detector is going off, and there isn't a fire, but the smoke detector is going off. We might go and eat something, or drink something, or buy something. Perhaps we will become critical or condescending. And we go into these reactive stances because we're not yet able to work with what is arising in a safer way. And this is an important inquiry. Where have I taken false refuge? Where am I inclined to take it? What are the signs that I am in a false refuge? When we're in a false refuge, we don't have equanimity. And it's certainly easy to look around the world and see that the world is pretty caught in a false refuge. And this isn't to make us feel bad, but it is growing our ability to look squarely at our own strategies to feel safe and secure, that now might not be so useful. actually harmful? And I think there are times in our lives where something difficult or poignant occurs, or perhaps it's just aging. And we start to recognize with more clarity that false refuge isn't keeping us safe. In fact, it's keeping us alone and separate, ignorant and asleep. And we are perpetuating dukkha. So we want to recognize this and name it and take a breath and see if we can drop the storyline and breathe with the feeling, whatever it is, as it is, with kindness. We breathe and ground, calm, settle, soothe to the best of our ability. And when we can breathe and make space for our vulnerabilities and our imperfections, then we become a refuge. We become a refuge for ourselves and for others. Befriending it's a deep practice. It's a practice of acknowledging, accepting, appreciation, a practice of turning toward rather than away. And I think we intuit, we start to really have a taste for what it feels like, the experience of connecting to our deepest grounding of experience and unconditional openness beyond the internal grips of our reactions. This is refuge. We enter a refuge. It's always available for us. So, in you, the Buddha takes refuge. Or in you, awakening takes refuge. In you, the Dharma takes refuge. Or in you, truth takes refuge. And in you, Sangha takes refuge. In you, love takes refuge. Thank you for listening.